Hello, I'm Todd Sanford, and just so you know, I'm a cowboy from West Texas, and these are some pretty hard names in this 1 Kings 15 through 17 that I'm going to read, so bear with me and don't hold me to them, but I'll do the best I can. 1 Kings chapter 15. In the 18th year of the reign of Jeroboam, son of Nebat, Abijah became king of Judah, and he reigned in Jerusalem 3 years. His mother's name was Maacah, daughter of Abishalom. He committed all the sins his fathers had done before. His heart was not fully devoted to the Lord his God, as the heart of David, his forefather, had been. Nevertheless, for David's sake, the Lord his God gave him a lamp into Jerusalem by raising up a son to succeed him and by making Jerusalem strong. For David had done what was right in the eyes of the Lord, and had not failed to keep any of the Lord's commands all of the days of his life, except in the case of Uriah the Hittite. There was a war between Abijah and Jeroboam throughout Abijah's life. As for the other events of Abijah's reign and all he did, are they not written in the book of the annals of the king of Judah? There was a war between Abijah and Jeroboam, and Abijah rested with his fathers and was buried in the city of David, and Asa, his son, succeeded him as king. In the 20th year of Jeroboam, king of Israel, Asa became king of Judah, and he reigned in Jerusalem 41 years. His grandmother's name was Maacah, daughter of Abishalom. Asa did what was right in the eyes of the Lord, as his father David had done. He expelled the male shrine prostitutes from the land and got rid of all the idols his fathers had made. He even deposed his grandmother, Maacah, from her position as queen mother, because she had made a repulsive Asheron pole. Asa cut the pole down and burned it in the Kidron Valley. Although he did not remove the high places, Asa's heart was fully committed to the Lord all his life. He brought into the temple of the Lord the silver and the gold and the articles that he and his father had dedicated. There was war between Asa and Baasha, king of Israel, throughout their reign. Baasha, king of Israel, went up against Judah and fortified Raham to prevent anyone from leaving or entering the territory of Asa, king of Judah. Asa then took all the silver and gold that was left in the treasuries of the Lord's temple of his own palace. He entrusted it to his officials and sent them to Ben-Hadad, son of Tamaron, the son of Hezon, and the king of Aram, who was ruling in Damascus. "Let there be a treaty between me and you," he said, "as there was between my father and your father. See, I am sending you a gift of silver and gold. Now break your treaty with Baasha, king of Israel, so he will withdraw from me." Ben-Hadad agreed, and King Asa and sent the commanders of his forces against the town of Israel. He conquered Ijon, Dan, Abel, Beth, Maacah, and all the Kidron, in addition to Naphtali. Yeah, I told you. When Baasha heard this, he stopped building Roham and withdrew Tirzah. Then King Asa issued an order to all of Judea. No one was exempt, and they carried away from Raham the stones and timber Baasha had been using there. With them, King Asa built up Gerba in Benjamin, and also Mizpah. As for all the other events of Asa's reign, all his achievements, all he did, and the cities he built, are they not written in the book of the annals of the kings of Judah? In his old age, however, his feet became diseased. Then Asa rested with his fathers and was buried with them in the city of his father David. And Jehoshaphat, his son, succeeded him as king. Naboth, son of Jeroboam, became king of Israel in the 2nd year of Asa, king of Judah, and he reigned over Israel 2 years. He did evil in the eyes of the Lord, walking in the ways of his father and in his sin, which he had caused Israel to commit. Baasha, son of Ahah, of the house of Issachar, plotted against him, and he struck him down at Gibeon, a Philistine town, while Naboth and all Israel were besieging it. Baasha killed Naboth in the 3rd year of Asa, king of Judah, and succeeded him as king. As soon as he began to reign, he killed Jeroboam's family, his whole family. He did not leave Jeroboam anything that breathed, but destroyed them all, according to the word of the Lord given through his servant Ahah and Shilonot. Because of the sins of Jeroboam had committed and had caused Israel to commit, and because he provoked the Lord, the God of Israel, not to anger. This is a tough one. As far as the other events of Naboth's reign and all he did, are they not written in the book of the annals of the kings of Israel? There was a war between Asa and Baasha, king of Israel, throughout their reigns. In the 3rd year of Asa, king of Judah, Baasha, son of Ahah, became king of all Israel in Tirzan, and he reigned 24 years. He did evil in the eyes of the Lord, walking in the ways of Jeroboam and his sin which he had caused Israel to commit. Then the word of the Lord came to Jehu, son of Hanani, against Baasha. I lift you up from the dust and made you leader of my people Israel. But you walked in the ways of Jeroboam and caused my people Israel to sin, to provoke me to anger by their sins. So I am about to consume Baasha and his house, and I will make your house like that of Jeroboam, son of Nebat. Dogs will eat those belongings to Baasha who die in the city, and birds of the air will feed on those who die in the country. As for the other events of Baasha's reign, what he did and his achievements, are they not written in the book of the annals of the kings of Israel? Baasha rested with his fathers and was buried in Tirzan, and Elah, his son, succeeded him as king. Moreover, the word of the Lord came through the prophet Jehu, son of Hanani, to Baasha and his house, and because of all the evil he had done in the eyes of the Lord, provoking him to anger by these things he did, and becoming like the house of Jeroboam, and also because he destroyed it. In the 26th year of Asa's king of Judah, Elah, son of Baasha, became king of Israel, and he reigned in Tirzan 2 years. Zimri, one of his officials who was the commander of half of his chariots, plotted against him. Elah was in Tirzan at the time, getting drunk in the home of Arzah, the man in charge of the place at Timnah. the palace at Timuron. Zimri came in, struck him down, and killed him in the 27th year of Asa's king of Judah. Then he succeeded him as king. As soon as he began to reign and was seated on the throne, he killed off Baasha's family. He did not spare a single male, whether relative or friend. So Zimri destroyed the whole family of Baasha in accordance with the word of the Lord spoken against Baasha through the prophet Jehu, because all of the sins of Baasha and his son Elah had committed and had caused Israel to commit, so that they provoked the Lord, the God of Israel, to anger by their worthless idols. As for the other events of Elah's reign and all he did, are they not written in the book of the annals of the king of Israel? In the 27th year of Asa, king of Judah, Zimri reigned in Tirzan 7 days. The army was encamped near Gibbethon, a Palestine town. When the Israelites in the camp heard that Zimri had plotted against the king and murdered him, they proclaimed Omri, the commander of the army, king over Israel, and that very day there in the camp. Then Omri and all the Israelites with him withdrew from Gibeon and laid siege to Tirzan. Then Zimri saw that the city was taken. He went into the citadel of the royal palace and set the place on fire around him. So he died, because of the sins he had committed, doing evil in the eyes of the Lord and walking in the ways of Jeroboam, and in the sin he had committed and had caused Israel to commit. As for the other events of Zimri's reign and the rebellion he carried out, are they not written in the book of the annals of the king of Israel? Then the people of Israel were split into two factions. Half supported Tibni, son of Ginath, for king, and the other half supported Omri. But Omri's followers proved stronger than those of Tibni, son of Ginath. So Tibni died, and Omri became king. In the 21st year of Asa, king of Judah, Omri became king of Israel, and he reigned 12 years, 6 of them in Tirzan. He bought the hill of Samaria. He bought the hill of Samaria from Shurma for 2 talents of silver, and built a city on the hill, calling it Samaria. After Shurma, the name of the former owner of the hill. But Omri did evil in the eyes of the Lord, and sinned more than all of those before him. He walked in all the ways of Jeroboam, son of Nebat, and in his sin which he had caused Israel to commit. So they provoked the Lord, the God of Israel, to anger by their worthless idols. As for the other events of Omri's reign, what he did and the things he achieved, are they not written in the book of the annals of the king of Israel? Omri rested with his fathers and was buried in Samaria, and Ahab, his son, succeeded him as king. In the 38th year of Asa's king of Judah, Ahab, son of Omri, became king of Israel, and he reigned in Samaria over Israel 22 years. Ahab, son of Omri, did more evil in the eyes of the Lord than any of those before him. He not only considered it trivial to commit the sins of Jeroboam, son of Nebat, but he also married Jezebel's daughter of Ethbaal, king of the Sidonians, and began to serve Baal and worship him. He set up the altar of Baal in the temple of Baal that he built in Samaria. Ahab also made an Asherah pole and did more to provoke the Lord, the God of Israel, to anger than did all the kings of Israel before him. In Ahab's time, Hiel of Bethel rebuilt Jericho. He laid his foundations at the cost of his firstborn son, Abram, and he set up its gates as the cost of his youngest son, Segum, in accordance with the word of the Lord spoken by Joshua, son of Nun. Chapter 17. Now Elijah the Tishbite from Tishbe in Gilead said to Ahab, "As the Lord, the God of Israel, lives whom I serve, there will be neither dew nor rain in the next few years except at my word." Then the word of the Lord came to Elijah, "Leave here, turn eastward, and hide in the Kerith ravine, east of the Jordan. You will drink from the brook, and I have ordered the ravens to feed you there." So he did what the Lord had told him. He went to the Kerith ravine, east of the Jordan, and stayed there. The ravens brought him bread and meat in the morning, and bread and meat in the evening, and he drank from the brook. Sometime later, the brook dried up because there had been no rain in the land. Then the word of the Lord came to him, "Go at once to Sepharad of Sidon, and stay there. I have commanded a widow in that place to supply you with food." So he went to Sepharad. When he came to the town gate, a widow was there gathering sticks. He called to her and asked, "Would you bring me a little water in a jar so I may have a drink?" As she was going to get it, he called, "And bring me, please, a piece of bread." "As surely as the Lord your God lives," she replied, "I don't have any bread, only a handful of flour in a jar and a little oil in a jug. I am gathering a few sticks to take home and make a meal for myself and my son, that we may eat and die." Elisha said to her, "Don't be afraid. Go home and do as you have said. But first, make a small cake of bread for me from what you have and bring it to me. And then make something for yourself and your son. For this is what the Lord, the God of Israel, says. The jar of flour will not be used up, and the jug of oil will not run dry until the day the Lord gives rain on the land." So she went away and did as Elijah told her. So there was food every day for Elijah and for the woman and her family. For the jar of flour was not used up, and the jug of oil did not run dry, in keeping with the word of the Lord spoken to Elijah. Sometime later, the son of the woman who owned the house became ill. He grew worse and worse and finally stopped breathing. She said to Elijah, "What do you have against me, man of God? Did you come to remind me of my sin and kill my son?" "Give me your son," Elisha replied. He took him from her arms, carried him to the upper room where he was staying, and laid him on his bed. Then he cried out to the Lord, "O Lord, my God, have you brought me tragedy upon this widow I am staying with by causing her son to die?" Then he stretched himself out on the boy 3 times and cried to the Lord, "O Lord, my God, let this boy's life return to him." The Lord heard Elijah's cry, and the boy's life returned to him, and he lived. Elisha picked up the child and carried him down from the room into the house. He gave him to the mother, and she said, "Look, your son is alive." Then the woman said to Elisha, "Now I know that you are a man of God, and that the word of the Lord from your mouth is true." Thanks for bearing with me through that. That first chapter or 2 was pretty rough, but thank you, and we'll see you.
Hello, and welcome to Fear into Faith Global Bible Revival, where we're on a mission to get 1 million people to read the Word of God. My name is Summer Day, and I have with me in the studio Mr. Todd Sanford.
Hello. So excited to be here.
I don't know who's more excited, me or you.
Me.
No.
You've been making fun of me off camera pretty hard.
Stop
yeah.
it. Don't tell my secrets just yet. It's not making fun. It's just having some fun with the family.
Folks, they're making fun of my accent,
I
my
love
cowboy
your accent. Stop it right now.
Yeah. So, accent, yeah.
You're amazing. You're amazing. I'm so grateful for you for being here. Tell everybody just a little bit about yourself. They probably figured out where you're from yet, but in case they don't know, where are you from?
San Angelo, Texas, dead center of Texas.
Born and raised Texan?
Man, born and raised right there in that area within 45 minutes of where I live right now my whole life. So, yes. Fifth, sixth generation. Well, my boys are sixth generation Texans. So, yeah, we're a long line of Texans. Proud of it.
And what'd you grow up doing?
Well, growing up, lived in a small community, about 2,000 people. So we were real tight-knit little community. Ended up becoming a professional firefighter and paramedic, and I was doing that for 35 years, for 28 and a half as a professional. Broke my neck in the process of being a fireman. Got trapped in a burning building, and they had to dig me out. Yeah. Had a lot of crazy stuff. We're in the middle of a desert. I'm the only person in the history of San Angelo that got hauled out of a lake and had the bends and was taken to the hospital and didn't expect to live. We were diving for a body, and crazy story, crazy stuff in the fire department. Loved it, though, 28 and a half year career.
You're just throwing so many things at me at once. I can't handle. I'm like, I'm juggling.
That's my life. I've juggled my whole life. So
Firefighter.
Yeah.
35 years, you said?
35 total, 28 and a half as a professional. I was a volunteer first and then moved into that and retired as operations fire chief, the number 2 chief, and just loved what I did. But it was time to move on and do something different.
Now, before we move on, you mentioned about getting hurt and you had broken your neck, and I love that story. We're going to unpack that story a lot because you're one of the stories in the 52-week Bible study journal, which I'm assuming y'all have gotten your hands on. You got to get that Year of Miracles with 52 stories of miracle signs and wonders. So we're going to unpack that one. That one gets unpacked a whole lot more in that interview. But I would love to hear a different story of what was your greatest rescue as a firefighter or something that stood out?
Man, I had a couple, had some as paramedics, delivered 3 babies.
Okay, yeah. That's not something that other people do at their job.
No, those were crazy. Those were crazy.
How does that work? Is it because somebody just calls the paramedics and you were the one that showed up?
Yeah, they're having a baby, and so they panic and call up paramedics. We delivered 2 at the house, and then 1 was in the back of the ambulance.
Okay.
That was quite adventurous.
Do
because
they train for that?
Yeah, we did.
No way.
We did. You train for it, but you're not prepared for it. I mean,
I bet
it really.
It's not like catching a football, right? I know you were a quarterback.
No, it was slippery as no. It's
catching a football.
I mean, yeah, I had 3 kids of my own.
Yeah,
that was very controlled in the back of an ambulance going. I mean, because the driver.
Oh, it was driving. It wasn't even stopped.
No,
you're delivering.
We were going,
gosh,
and the driver's hauling it. The ambulance is going everywhere, and the baby goes, and you're just sliding everywhere, and it's crazy.
Okay, I was picturing a stopped ambulance. So no, you guys didn't even stop.
No,
the baby.
No, I'm screaming in the back, get me to the hospital because I don't want to deliver this baby. So my driver's driving real fast. But that's
anything stand out from a fire rescue?
We had one. You talk about, we're here talking about faith and stuff. And I'll say that truly there's been a bunch of rescues of me that were amazing, that firemen came in and saved me at some fires. But the one that stands out was everything fell into place one day. We had a lady that she caught her house on fire, and she tried to put it out herself, and then she ran to her bedroom and got trapped. One of the firemen found her and pulled her out, carried her, met me in the hallway. I was just coming in, handed her to me. I carried her, brought her out, just happened to have one of my men that had been taking an ambulance to a hospital visit, brought the ambulance by, heard the call come in and parked the ambulance. So we had all of our equipment right there.
Yeah.
I carried the lady out. She wasn't breathing. We laid her down. We intubated her. We started CPR. We brought her back and saved her life. I mean, so as far as life saving, that one would probably be the tops on the saving somebody's life in a fire. That was pretty cool.
Now, did you always want to be a firefighter?
I think I did. My grandparents gave me a ladder truck when I was a little kid, probably 5 years old. My uncle was a volunteer, so I really did. And that was always what I wanted to do. At 16, you could become a volunteer if your parents signed off on you. Yeah. My parents refused to sign off, said that's too dangerous. So my 17th birthday, the day I turned 17, you were considered an adult and you could sign off for yourself. Wow. And I went and joined the volunteer. So from the day I turned 17 till I retired, I was always a firefighter. And so, yeah, I wanted to do it. And then life threw some curveballs at me and really didn't have a choice. You know, I had to pursue that. I had to quit college. We lost our home growing my home that I grew up. I was in college. My mom lost the home, had no place to live. So I quit college. I moved home. Me and her found a tiny little FHA house, and we were living in that little tiny community. And I did that for I don't know, a year and a half, 2 years.
Okay,
and
we gotta pause you again. So you dropped out of college to go take care of your mom.
Well, in my mind, I did. In my mind, I went home because she had nothing and she needed me. But to be real honest, I went home and I was I'd been playing football at college. I'd finally made the team. I was a second string, strong safety, and I was living the dream I always had. And
yeah,
so
we mentioned you were a quarterback in high school.
I was,
okay.
and just loved football more than anything back then. And so when I quit, to be real honest, I tell everybody, yeah, I went home for my mom. But the reality was when I got home, I was messed up. I was mad. I was angry at my father because he was the reason we lost our home. Mom and dad had divorced already, but he was the reason. And so I was so angry. I'd go to work every day, and then the check that I had that I should have been helping mom with went to the local bar. And that's where I spent my time. And so yeah, I always say, but
you came home with good intentions.
I did, and I made it up to her later on in life. My mom is, we're fixing to celebrate her 85th birthday.
I love it.
I bought her a house right next to me. She lives right next to me.
Aww.
We see her or talk to her just about every day. She's an amazing, amazing woman. Everything that I became in my life, I owe to that woman just for protecting me when I was younger in high school and junior high. She's always been my rock.
I love it. So you went back to take care of your mom, but you're definitely taking care of her now. She's living right next door to you. You're seeing her every day.
Yeah.
I love it.
Love it.
I want to have a son, and I want him to do the same thing for me. You're such a good son. Got mom living next door to you.
I don't know. Like I said, I owe her everything. She took care of me when all those years, and it's not that I take care of her. She lives by herself. She takes care of herself. Don't get me wrong. And when we had kids growing up, we used her. She babysat, so It's not like I've done anything special for her.
You can check out the rest of this interview right here or by going to BibleRevival.tv. And if this show has blessed you, you can help us bless others by partnering with us for as little as $20 a month and help us to expand the reach of this show. We'd also like to invite you to join our Kingdom Discipleship Program, where you have an opportunity to get on weekly Bible Zoom calls with us and people around the world to deep dive into His Word. And you can check all that out at BibleRevival.tv. I'll see you next time, my friend.